Hey, Kenny. Welcome everybody. Hello. Y'all can have a seat. We'll get started here in a second.
I was afraid it would make me start coughing. I'm not sure. I'll try it.
I'll make this sweeter. How's that?
I got it. I can do it. I can do it. These are my favorites.
They are?
I'd like to welcome everybody. Can y'all hear me now? Hey, welcome back. I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 7th meeting of the Morgan County Commissioners. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance from a veteran. Who do we have? Billy. And then we'll have a moment of silence following that. I'd like for you to think about the folks that have been suffering down in our southern states and all the people who are helping them. So think about that, and we'll have that following before begin our meeting. Billy.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a neighbor that's down there right now in Florida, in North Carolina. Right now, he moved from Florida all the way up through North Carolina. His daughter stopped by and visited with me the other day. She's in vet school over in Findlay, Ohio. The things that she had to say about what he's experiencing, they don't make it on the news, but it's bad. Let's just say it's really bad. And but they're getting a lot of help too. That's the blessing of this country too. First order in our business this morning is our claims. We have the listing there for you, gentlemen. I'll entertain a motion for acceptance of the claims.
Brian Collier makes a motion that we accept the total payroll and accounts payable claims of $4,313,086.07.
Second.
Thank you. It's been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. 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 Motion passes 3-0. I know that I've always said, and since we've got some new faces out here, I mentioned the fact that that's a huge amount of money, $4 million for this last month. But most of that money goes right back into the community, which is kind of something we got to consider. So, the grocery stores and banks, whoever swallows our money. We also, next item we have is a treasurer's report that has been given to us monthly. I hope you've had a chance to review it. Do you have any questions or any? If not, I'll entertain a motion on that.
Brian Collier makes a motion that we accept the report as presented.
Second.
It's been made and seconded that we accept the treasurer's report. Yeah, all in favor say aye. Aye. I see I actually skipped the minutes too, so.
Attorney, on that, since we're accepting that, but I review it, but it's not like we're auditing that. It's kind of something new that in the motion, should we put as presented or as unaudited? You know, I don't want, if these numbers were to be wrong, I have no way, based upon the report, because I'm not doing an
just-
audit of this before it's going.
We're just
Acknowledging
accepting it.
receipt of it.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification and,
Somebody
good
asked me what
question.
happens if those
Yeah, I
numbers are
wondered
wrong
if
and you
something,
approved them.
yeah, I proved something wrong. I don't want to do that.
Blame it on the mayor. Hey, look, the mayor's in the back row.
Hello, Mayor. Glad to see you. We have, and I'm glad to see law enforcement too. There's a couple meetings ago, I was wishing for you there, but. And Dawn, I think we were at a meeting the other night, I was wishing too. It's kind of crazy once in a while. I omitted, I'm sorry, the minutes from September 3rd. I hope you've had a chance to review those and approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the September 3rd minutes for the Morgan County Commissioners' regular meeting.
Thank you.
I'll second that with one correction under resolution. First page on September 3rd, it's got Ken Hale. He normally goes,
Mr. Y.
Y fell off of there, and that was the only second.
Lost Y, huh? Well, that's very observant. I'll entertain a motion with a correction. Do you, that's what your motion was? Okay, did you second it?
With the correction.
Okay.
He made it.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the ratifying of the emergency proclamation of the burn ban that we had a couple weeks ago. And fortunately, we got some rain and we removed it, but I saw also that National Weather was encouraging people not to burn right now because of the dry weather and the dry surface. So we haven't gone back with it, but
The irony is that it hadn't rained for 3 weeks before we put this in. 2 days later, it pours down, it expires, and now it's dry again.
didn't take long.
Maybe we need to put it back in, but we'll have to consult the farmers to see if they need any more water.
I think they're all out trying to get the harvest in, but
We'll hold off on the rain then.
yeah, just a little bit. But we're glad to see that we did get, hurricane hurt a lot of folks, but it sure helped a lot of Hoosiers get things, a crop that was in dire straits. Helped me out. It lets my cows eat something besides hay. So
I'll make a motion that we
ratify it.
the disaster emergency proclamation, local burn ban.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments further? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ban is ratified. Trish, you've been a busy lady. Trish is our health department czar. We'll call you that right now.
I like that.
You know,
I'll stick with
you're
that.
doing a great job with the health
Thank you,
department,
Don.
please.
So yes, we have 6 MOUs this morning. Most of these, or basically all of them, are due to that new state funding that we're getting for the Health First Indiana initiative. So that's the one where we were awarded about $726,000 this year, and next year that is doubling. So one of the things that the state wants us to do is get most of this money out into the community. Shouldn't say most, but get a lot of this money out into the community, doing more initiatives. If we're not able to do it internally, let's get it to different organizations that can do it. So one of the things that we already awarded is to the YMCA, the Diabetes Prevention Program. So that's our first awardee. And then these next few are what we are still working on, or what we just awarded upon your approval. And actually, these are contingent upon council approving of some transfers tonight as well. So make sure that we have the right funds in the right places. So would you like just alphabetical order? Should we just run down? Okay, so the first one is the Boys and Girls Club. So they had asked for some funding for a teen sports program director. So we're gonna fund a portion of their time, I think it's 10%, And then they had asked for some physical activity equipment. So they're getting some basketball goals, pickleball equipment, that type of thing. They're planning to provide physical activity and sports programming to their 250 youth that come through that program annually. And then they're going to be implementing new sports leagues and providing 5 family sports clinics throughout the year. So their total ask was $7,335, and, well, it was actually, they asked for a total of $10,000. There were a couple of non-allowable expenses that they had asked for. So out of the $10,000 that they asked for, we plan to award $7,335 upon your approval.
Are you going to go one by one on these?
You tell me, yeah, do we need,
I expect that's what we need to do.
and,
All right.
want me to roll through them, or do we need a vote for each one?
Oh, it would be safer to have a vote for each one, just
Okay.
in case there's a, like, if for some reason they would vote
Okay.
against one
Yep.
of them.
I'll entertain a motion
good for
on the first one with, and who's that with again?
The Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club?
Yep.
I was reading other ones, so I didn't catch it.
Kenny Hale makes a motion, we approve the Morgan County Health Department's memorandum of understanding with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Morgan County not to exceed $7,335.
Motion been made and seconded on Morgan County.
All right, the next one is Chambers Consulting and Training.
Oh, we better vote on that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. We didn't vote, did we? I just got a first and second.
Call for a vote then.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye. All right, second one. Number 2.
So we got
6.
6.
Okay.
We'll roll
Put them all
through.
together.
All right, so high level here, we got Chambers Consulting and Training, Shannon Chambers. We would like to award her to do critical incident stress management training with some of our first responders. So this is basically, it's an evidence-based program. It's basically where different first responders will act as peer supports to their cohorts after traumatic type of emergencies and that type of thing, where they are on call for that. What this is shown to do is reduce suicides, depression, and PTSD symptoms in emergency personnel after those traumatic events. So their total ask was $3,875, and we would like to fully fund that. That would get 25 individuals through the training.
Entertain a motion.
Are these like local providers that then take the training that can, like peer-to-peer?
Yep, it's peer-to-peer support, exactly. Yep, so fire, police, EMS, all of the above is what we would like to.
And have you talked to anybody, because there's already a system out there, though it's fairly loose. What's
Yep.
that? Okay.
There you go, expansion.
Brian
So-
Kyer makes a motion that we approve the memorandum between the Morgan County Health Department and Chambers Consulting and Training.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. And thank you for the chambers. What
All
else?
right.
What's the next one?
Number 3, Churches in Mission. If you probably are very aware of them. They're a local food pantry. They're located in both Mooresville and Martinsville. They served, I think, over 10,000 cars came through, so obviously some repeat customers, but their numbers are only increasing and their funding continually decreases. So they are trying to do free cooking classes in Morgan County. They're hoping that about 90 households or approximately 450 individuals would be involved in that. They have what's called Hope House classes. So I've been to a few of those. They are very well attended. And instead of just offering a meal, they're planning to actually do like cooking and nutritional counseling and education as part of those classes now, so with our funding. So their total ask is $30,000. That also includes some staff time that we would be paying for to do the actual classes, and we would like to fully fund that initiative.
They certainly do a lot of very active bunch. I go to their, I'm sure you do too. There's a lot of folks here to some of their fundraisers, but they've expanded out of Mooresville down to Morgan County, and I think it's great. It's
Yeah.
just very needed and appreciated.
Absolutely.
I'll entertain a motion on the churches and missions request of 30,000.
Kenny Hill makes motion, we approve the request for the Board of Health and Churches in Mission on the MOU not to exceed 30,000.
Second.
It's motion.
Should we put an asterisk on that, that I'm not gonna ask my wife to go to that cooking class? Keep me out of the doghouse.
I will make sure that she's top of the email list. Yeah.
Make sure that she doesn't think that I passed that for that reason.
Well, you know, those cooking classes are really important for those people because I think they have to be reasonable in what they are fixing. But I
Yep.
think more importantly, I don't know how many people, I was thinking about this morning when I was going through some of this, but there's a lot of need for, if you're by yourself, which a lot of them are, a lot of people that are involved with churches and mission are singles or widowers or widows. And it's kind of hard to cook by yourself all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe those cooking classes will address that. That'd be
We
great.
hope so. They do plan to hand out the recipe cards with, they hand out their boxes of food, but sometimes people are like, I don't know what this is, so what do I do with it? So they're gonna do some recipe cards for those types of things too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
they go above and beyond. They're awesome.
And who else do we have next?
All right, Franciscan Health is up next. So they would like to hire a community health worker. This is something that a lot of hospitals have kind of gotten into. They are a staff member that's more kind of from the community, so they're very involved with what the community needs are. They get specialized training through a community health worker association. So a lot of hospitals are kind of getting into this type of practice because it gives more time for someone from the hospital to speak with the patient instead of just getting those 5 minutes with their physician and then giving a list of things that they need to do. So it's really more proactively getting involved, it's preventive. What they want to focus on is maternal and child health with this person. So they want to implement the prenatal assistance program, which they are running at a few other Franciscan hospitals in the state. It just hasn't come to Mooresville yet. So with this CHW, they would get to do that program, and they would also like to implement the Food RX program. So again, more of kind of like nutritional counseling and training with the folks, our newly pregnant folks, or women who have just had their babies. So we would love to improve our infant mortality rate here in Morgan County. So this is what it's been proven to show at other Franciscan hospitals. We would love to see this program. I think we've talked a lot about our smoking rates within pregnant women. 1 in 10 pregnant women in Morgan County smoke. And I think that number would largely increase if we included vaping in that. So just working on all those kind of health initiatives with our new moms. So their total ask was actually for 2 CHWs. And we asked that that be reduced to 1 based on the funding that we have available. So the total amount that we would like to fund them is $88,235. That goes to the CHW and a few of the program supplies that they would need to run that program.
Brian Carter makes a motion that we accept the memorandum of understanding between Morgan County Health Department and San Friscan Health Foundation, Inc., not to exceed $88,235.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Awesome. All right, we're getting there. So our next one is with Guided Vision Consulting LLC. This individual is Liz Stern. I've worked closely with her. She used to be at Adult and Child for many, many years. She was overseeing a lot of the counseling that happens in our school systems. I think you guys have probably heard that Adult and Child has at least 1 to 2 staff at all of our schools in Monrovia, Mooresville, and Martinsville, and then Centerstone is in Eminence, so that's why they are not in that school system. But that's something that we also help fund through the health department, so she's been heavily involved in that. I really appreciate the work that she has done. So she has gone out as her own consultant, and I need someone to help me with all of our grants management for all of this extra funding that we have received from the state, and this is 100% in her wheelhouse. So I am asking that she help. She would just be at 5 hours a week right now. And then we would review this MOU after the 12 months to see if we would like to continue with her.
I didn't see the amount on that.
So she would be at $100 per hour, and so we're approximately 5 hours per week, kind of depending on when needs are needed for this grant managing.
Okay.
But just approximately 5 hours a week for right now.
So if we make it at 6,000, not to exceed 6,000,
For the rest of the year,
when's this start?
I have the date as,
Is it 5 hours a week?
it's just 5 hours per week, yes.
Okay.
So then I have, for the
52
12
weeks.
months, it would be approximately 25.
Yes. And explain again, what exactly is this person helping you write grants?
She's gonna be
Manager.
yeah, she's my grants manager. So basically, we have an RFP process right now, the request for proposal process. So we had one person apply in May, we awarded them. We had 4 more individuals, the 4 that we just decided to award this morning. They all applied in July. It's a lot of work to go through all of them and score them and award them and create these MOUs and keep track of how much we're spending. We have to do site visits with them. They have to do a lot of data and reporting for us and the state. So keeping all of that in check and then making sure that the state gets clean data. What else am I missing? Yeah, so it's a lot of new funding, it's a lot of new initiatives, it's a lot of getting into the community and working with these individuals, and we've never had anyone here to really run that program.
And what happens if they need more than 5 hours in the week? Do they take it out the next week and work 7 this week and 3 the next, or, I mean,
Yeah, that's
we
what it's
address
gonna,
that?
yep, it's gonna be, yes, because obviously whenever we have more people applying, well, we just had 5 more individuals apply on September 30th, so it's a busy time right now because she's getting all of that compiled, or would be getting all of that compiled, speaking with everyone, getting us ready for our next scoring session, which, Dawn, I think we have a date set for that, so. Yeah, so it may be a few more hours on some weeks, it may be less hours on other weeks.
Basically, it's what you need to manage what you're doing.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. And, you know, I was astounded at what we're doing,
Yeah,
but with our complete staff that we have and just managing these grants is gonna be a lot of Ts to cross and Is to dot. And, looks like you got that covered too. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
and just keeping them accountable too. And like I said, for all of the data that they're gonna need to report to us, it's just a lot of communication and wrangling of folks and site visits and check-ins and.
It's almost as bad as NDOT, isn't it?
Almost. I don't know, I'd have to ask
I
Justin how
don't
bad
know.
NDOT is.
I don't know if Justin would agree with that,
Yeah.
but
Luckily,
want
have never
to
had
want to
NDOT
get a
grants,
grant to
so.
manage NDOT. All right. Any questions further questions?
Yeah, and this is still, these dollars are still coming from the new funding. So the actual Health First Indiana funding that is going to be used toward all of these grantees is also going to be paying for managing these grantees. So,
Very well thought through. Any other further questions on the board? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the MOU between Morgan County Health Department and the Guided Vision Consulting LLC in the amount of up to $6,000.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
quick question on that one. Do I need to come back to start 2025 then with her?
Okay.
Is that, so would we just amend this to
Total.
say that we would review start of the year instead of at 12 months?
Is that there, you want that in the motion? How do you, what are you proposing?
I just want to make sure that we were thinking it would be the 12 months, but like.
You want a fiscal contract or a calendar contract? That would be more up to you.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not,
I'm just, if
we're
we
not gonna
put
be,
the,
we're not evaluating the MOU, are we?
No.
I mean, you would.
I just wanted to make sure if we put the 6,000 on here, if I need to come back to you guys once we hit that 6,000 mark.
Did you say 6,000 or
6.
Well, then you would have to come back.
Well, I think that'd be appropriate,
Okay.
just so we know where everything's going and the
Yeah.
public knows what's happening. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Do we need to update the MOU?
Yeah, so they're approving it subject to a revision that you would have to update, if I'm
Okay.
understanding correctly.
Yeah.
Subject to a $6,000 cap that's not in the current draft.
Okay,
we,
so put the
Subject to-
6,000 in, take the 12-month out.
does that sound like something you guys like?
That's good for me, that's fine.
I'm not trying to change.
I thought he said 26,000, so I apologize.
Oh.
But he said 6,000.
6.
Yeah, hold on, I made a mistake.
If you do the 6,000, you're coming back. If you do the 26,000, it's an annual contract. That's 500 times 52.
Yeah, I messed up. I'd go ahead and, Don, or you want to withdraw your second, I'll go ahead and withdraw my motion and change it.
I'll withdraw my second.
Or withdraw my motion, make the motion in the amount for the Morgan County Health Department and Guided Vision Consulting LLC in the amount of $30,000. I don't know, you got a little cushion.
Perfect. I plan to bring that back to you within the 12 months.
My wife says I need hearing aids. Did you say 30,000?
Yes, I did.
Where did you get that figure?
I just rounded it up, Brian.
Okay. Do we have it within the money given by the state?
We
to-
do. Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you, getting that all squared
I'm sure
away.
everyone's happy we
I'll
started
have a
with
vote.
this one today.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 3-0.
Believe.
All right, we're rounding it off. This is our last one. So this MOU is with Ashley Mahin. She is a nurse practitioner with Nurses Direct Connect. Again, with our Health First Indiana funding, we are starting a new STD, STI program with our nurses. So all of the new supplies and anything that we need for that program will be bought with the Health First Indiana funding. We just need a referral source for someone who can prescribe and treat the individuals. So that's where we have found this nurse practitioner. One of our nurses has worked with her previously, and she would evaluate and treat, if necessary, all suspect and confirmed patients in the STI program per CDC guidelines. She would do education, make external referrals, et cetera. Basically, just closing the loop of this STI program for the items that we would not be able to do in-house.
Where do they meet at? When she meets with them, where are they, or she
At,
goes to
at
them?
her office, and then some of this will actually be through telehealth as well. Yep. Yeah, so they can start with us with some testing, and then if they need any further care, we would just do the referral to them and help set that patient up.
And do we, it's $45 per patient visit. Do we have an anticipate, a number that she may be getting? I mean, if I do $45 per patient, you're
Yeah,
covered.
so
but
that's
Am I looking
only-
at 10,000 or 45,000?
I don't know that that program is going to be that big in this first year. That's only for patients who are not on any type of insurance. And then she also, and we also help them get into Medicaid or Medicare, whatever type of insurance that they need to get on, before we would go to that option. But, so it's just for
So
patients who
once we
cannot
get
pay.
them on that, they would fall off of the, needing the supplemental $45.
Correct. Yes.
That makes sense.
I've got one other question for you, Trish, on your
Yes.
attachment on all these, pretty much most all these, submit reporting based on the Indiana Department of Health Core Service Tracker. I'm assuming each one of them are gonna have to do that, not this last one that we just approved, your new grant person. She's not gonna be entering their data, correct? Because it says that's what they're supposed to be doing?
Exactly, yes, that
And I'm
last
assuming
person
we-
is gonna be managing everything
Yes.
that all of our other grantees are submitting to us. That's what she is going to
Just-
be managing
yeah.
for me.
I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure, because it
Yes.
sounded like, okay.
Yeah, you got it. The core service tracker includes 22 pages worth of data that we have to submit to the state. They prefer monthly. We told them we would do quarterly. So data submission is a beast in itself.
yeah.
It just takes so
Big
much
time.
time. So that's a lot of what Liz will be doing for us. Yeah.
I just wanted to make
Good
sure
catch.
most of them were doing theirs.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh yes, absolutely.
Yep, Thank you.
Yeah, when they sign that, they got to know what they're getting into.
Yes.
Any further questions? Entertain a motion.
Brian Kyer makes a motion that we accept the memorandum between the Morgan County Health Department and Ashley
Man,
Nurses Direct Connect in the amount of $45 per patient visit.
Second.
been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Ms. Trish, Trish Runnigan, I should just not call you Ms. Trish. You know, this is more activity than I've seen for probably a while on the health department. And, you know, I'm looking at Keith, I think we got a whole page of health department stuff that people need to be aware of that we're doing. And we'll pass this along to you to make sure that you publicize.
Yeah.
But thank you, Trish, very much for the work that you're doing on the department.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the next scoring event.
I know, yeah, we'll see you for Halloween, but this is all back to you guys approving of us taking on the Health First Indiana funds and matching that, so that's a big thank you to you guys. This is what's happening with that funding, so,
It's terrific,
yeah. And
Thank
thanks for
you.
starting your morning off. with me.
making the
Appreciate it.
healthier county for sure.
That's what we hope.
Opportunities, that's what the goal is, isn't it?
That's the goal.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Next item is a letter of support for Stability First. Yes, go ahead. Josh is going to present it.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Judy Bushy. She represents Stability First. Stability First has been a community partner with our county for a long time. They work with our courts to help with sentencing. Judge Williams has done some direct sentencing to work with Stability First. They worked with our jail through our RSEP program, and their case managers coordinate effectively with our court services. We've even provided direct financial support to them in the past, as I know the city has as well. Today, they're here seeking simply a letter of support for some funding they're going after from the opioid settlement funds from the state, and so I'm going to turn the floor over to Judy. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Josh.
Hey,
So Josh
Judy.
queued me up pretty well. We're applying for a grant. The FSSA Division of Mental Health and Addictions has recently released $500,000 that can be used by qualified, certified recovery residents. Our Magdalene House qualifies for this funding, as will our foundation's house when open later this year, please Lord. And so we're just asking for a letter of support for our grant, hoping that you will entertain such a motion.
Jim and
You thought you retired from the Y and got out of all the grant stuff. We don't let good people go.
I'm happy to serve.
You have any questions, gentlemen?
I do not.
Glad to be able to support, or at least I think the motion will be favorable. All in favor of the letter of support?
Well, I'll make the motion first. The Morgan County Board of Commissioners in writing a letter of support for Morgan County nonprofit Stability First in this endeavor.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. 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 Motion passes 3-0, and thank you for your work.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. Next item on our agenda is the West Point, which is Highway 39 and 70 area that we're cooperating with Hendricks County. Josh, would you speak to that, please?
Yeah, happy to. As you're aware, we negotiated with the developer out in this area, both Hendricks and Morgan County, to receive $600,000 from the development for various services. We're going to be utilizing it for EMS services. Hendricks is using it for some fire services, but it's helped to offset costs that we incur as these areas develop. The developers having, we'll say, their own cash flow issues. They don't want to pay everything up front, and so we've negotiated with them. Of that $600,000, they'll make the first payment before the year's over, then they have to make a $100,000 payment each quarter, plus we're going to charge them 5.75% interest to carry that note for a year, and the interest is not recoverable from the TIF proceeds. So as long as you guys are okay with this amendment, Ann and her partner Tom have helped negotiate this with us. So if you guys are good with it, it's ready to sign and send back to the developer.
Questions?
It's a good way to
Yep.
help upgrade as development occurs and puts the cost back on us.
Yep.
It allows us to provide the proper services and doesn't necessarily have to come directly out of property tax or income tax. So I'm all in favor.
Kenny Hill makes motion, we approve the amendment to the West Point tip proposal between Morgan County RDC and the Raindrop LLC.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we approve the TIP proposal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Just for the record, a lot of times people don't know what Josh does. I would argue that people have no clue all that he does do, and he was key in negotiating with the developers to help secure this. And we've really not, other counties have done this with development over the years where they get some money to help offset the costs that get passed on to county services such as EMS immediately. So I wanted to publicly thank Josh for going out there and helping to get this secured and get this taken care of. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I'm
Commissioner
still
Collier.
going to make fun of you off the record.
The next item is a letter of support for the, to the OCRA, or Office of Community and Rural Affairs, letter of support for the Martinsville Youth Development Center's grant proposal. They applied for this earlier and were not accepted, I guess would be the correct terminology. And they're going to reapply after they made some changes on how they sent that act in. I was not familiar with the Martinsville Youth Development Center. It sounds like it's in Martinsville, but it's basically 7 townships in Morgan County. I think that was one of the things that was not clear to the people that judged the application. They thought it was just Martinsville, but it's a huge project, which is centered around, it's in Martinsville for after-school activities down here on Morton Avenue. Run very well and very inexpensive for a lot of folks, young people that can participate, and they're going to reapply for that grant. So that's what they're doing. And maybe change the mind of the people or rephrase it so that they understood it. I think they didn't really understand their previous grant application. But this is a letter of support for that. I will make the motions to go ahead and approve it because I've been involved with that. I think they've done a really nice job down there. So I don't know my position as a chairman here, but I hope just go ahead and make that motion that we go ahead and approve this grant, or not grant, approve this letter of support.
So are you making the motion?
I am.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Yeah, they're doing a great job down there. They have a dinner coming up sometime this month out at Hoosier Harvest, if you want to support them there. So we'll adjourn here for a minute. Coffee break, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Oh, hi, guys. Anything? No. I make a motion, see what they do. They just leave me. I got a little time to kill. I know Dawn's going to make. You have at the end of the meeting. We'll call you for your comments, and for anybody here, if you haven't signed and you would like to make any, we always have a place over here where you can. I think I took it with me, so if anybody else wants to speak, they can, and I would remind anybody that does that we have kind of a 5-minute limit on, Madison does 3, we do 5. So when you come to speak to us, if I feel like in 5 minutes you haven't said what you need to say, or you're not done, I'll let you have some more time, but that's the way we do it. You might want to take it back to your board, too, because I saw the meeting the other night, it was kind of interesting. I know, I just want you to be aware of what it's posted outside, so, and you need that there. Thank you. I don't know where they went, I have no idea. One's chasing down the other. Maybe we need to bring the coffee pot in here. Here they come. I will say when the meeting's over, there's a few of you out there that I haven't met, and I'm not politicking or anything, but if you have anything you'd like to, it sounds like politicking. If you're a commissioner, you're always doing something that gets caught. But be sure and come up and say hi afterwards and greet and see what you're here for, because I don't get a chance to see you guys enough. We return, coffee in hand and coffee removed, so, all right.
Somebody rated it.
Next item on our business is in our new business is the ordinance that we talked about not too long ago, about an hour ago, really. A drainage board ordinance, a fee schedule change. Would one of you gentlemen, since you're chairman, would you kind of explain to the public here what this is all about? Or Terry, do you want to?
Yes, I will explain by calling Mr. Terry Brock to the podium.
Terry's our county surveyor, if you're not familiar with online what we're doing here, but Terry's a busy man.
We have 3 ordinances that you're looking at. The first one's a stormwater ordinance. It's been 20 years since we updated that. IDEM has went from a rule to a permit now, and they gave us new requirements. And so after 20 years, this is the first time we've adjusted our stormwater ordinance. The other one is our illicit discharge ordinance, which is the same thing. IDEM has changed the requirements on that. Excuse me. And the illicit discharge is just part of our stormwater ordinance. It always come in after your ordinance is passed. And then we have our fee ordinance, which we had to adjust because we have to do a lot more inspections and things with the new permit. So that's what we have.
I would say, and these are first readings, and we'll keep them first readings, so we don't want
It's
a
a
motion
first
to
reading
have
for this. Yes.
2 readings. So we'll be bringing this back in case
First
there's any
of November.
questions
Yeah.
about it at the next meeting in this month.
No, it'll be the November meeting. It'll come
November
back.
meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, November meeting. We'll do it the first November. Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions from the board about the let's do one ordinance at a time. I think that's more appropriate. 17, ordinance 2024-17 is the drainage board fee schedule change. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded on the first reading for the drainage board fee schedule change. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next ordinance is 24-18, stormwater ordinance for the stormwater. I'll entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you, Terry. The next item on the agenda is from our bridge right-of-way from Justin Schneck, our county engineer.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The first item on the agenda I have before you is our proposed right-of-way for Bridge 68. This is a local bridge project on Ballinger Road. It's been in the design process for the last few years. We are now near a stage 3 completion on our plans. It's about 90%. We need to buy the appropriate right-of-way to construct these improvements. So what I have before you is a plat sheet showing the overall layout of the project, and then 4 individual sheets showing the particular take, if you will, from each adjacent property owner listed with the acreage. What I'm looking for today is approval for this layout so that we can begin negotiations to start purchasing this land to build this project. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
The only question I had, Justin, it's not on the right of way, but I'm assuming you will be taking the old bridge down after the new one's up, correct?
Correct. This road
Okay.
is being realigned
Yeah.
to improve it, so yes, the old one is coming out.
I really thought you would, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve for Bridge 68 right of way to allow the Highway Department to move forward with that taking of the right of way needed.
We have a motion on the right-of-way for Bridge 68. I had a couple of questions before we get a second.
Sure.
Well, no, we need a second before I make my discussion.
I'll do the second, and you ask your question.
My questions are, first of all, I was not familiar with the, was it BRCJ? Is that a,
That's the sub-consultant that performed the right-of-way engineering on it.
yeah, I hadn't met these folks. I just, looks like they did decent work.
Yeah,
Second question is, on Ballinger, what are we, is it a bridge there?
it is a bridge. So
Over
there's an
what?
existing culvert there. It's load rated, load posted right now. So it's really old, needs to be replaced. So along with replacing the bridge, we're realigning the roadway to improve sight distance, curve
Okay.
geometry. And then with that, we're installing a new buried aluminum structure.
It's actually over Goose Creek, Don.
It's over what?
Goose Creek,
Yep.
Goose Creek?
Goose
Yeah.
Creek, yep.
Okay.
down the hill from me.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to figure out where it was. I know Ballinger, but Ballinger goes quite a long distance.
That's right, yep.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. What else we got here,
Thank
Justin?
you. The next item is a change order for Bridge 60. So this is the bridge on Rob Hill Road over Sycamore Creek that opened to traffic a couple weeks ago. The scope of this project originally was a superstructure replacement, but as we tore the deck and the beams off, we got to inspecting the indent, which is the element that the beams rest on to support the rest of the bridge, and we found that it was deteriorated beyond what was originally thought during the scoping of the project. So instead of a partial reconstruction, we had to completely tear it out, replace it, brand new concrete and rebar. The change order amount for that work was to the tune of $58,000. However, we will not see that amount, the contract will not take that amount of a hit to it. During the life of the contract, we were able to underrun on certain change items to the tune of $20,000. So we're looking at a $38,000 overage to this project. We have the funds appropriated for this. Right now, I am in discussions with NDOT to see if they will help us foot the bill for this change order, but as of right now, it is 100% on us. We are working to fulfill all of the contract amount that they gave us originally. If I can try to talk them into helping us, that'll help. We'll take anything we get, but as of right now, the worst-case scenario would be $38,000, and we do have the money to cover that. The reason
Glad
I'm
to hear
bringing this
that.
before you is usually I would have a backup ERC have the second signature on this change order. We currently do not have one, so therefore I'm bringing this to you until we get one hired next year.
I hate change orders, but it looks like this one's necessary because you didn't know about it till it happened.
We didn't, and it's really not something we could have figured out beforehand until we really dug in.
Is this over Sycamore Creek?
It is, right by Bradford Woods.
You know, I've got a proposal.
Okay.
I think we ought to go out and talk to those guys that are in the highway department and let them have an afternoon off and pan for gold in Sycamore Creek and pay for this.
I'm on board with that, you know, we'll talk later
There is
after
gold in
this.
Sycamore Creek. It's an old, they don't know where the main vein is, but that used to have a lot of, they actually panned for gold there. And believe it or not, they did it for eyeglass frames.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you, we didn't find any during our excavation of this
Daggone
project,
it.
but I'm down to go look for
You're
some more.
still broke.
Exactly, yeah, that's right, yep.
I'll entertain a motion.
Ron Carter makes that motion.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. And I got an extra pan if you really want to get with it.
For sure, all right, yep.
What else you got?
Our next item is our countywide small structure inspection report. That was, United Consulting performed that for us over the course of this year. I've got Brian Frederick and Kyle Kent with us today. Kyle's going to give you a short presentation over this flyer handout, just giving a short summary of their findings during the project. And then, while I turn this over to Kyle, I also did add something to your guys' packets. I would like to address you guys at the end of the meeting regarding that.
Mr. Kent. Oh, is that the report for the small structures?
It sure is. There's a lot of culverts. No, it's not very small. But luckily we have flash drives that are much smaller.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, I was not going to put that in my pocket. I've got some.
You got it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you.
It's got color to it.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, sir.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
Like Justin said, I'm Kyle Kent with United Consulting. So our firm is under contract with Morgan County to provide inspection services for the small structure inventory. So this contract covers a one-year period, which started at the start of this year in January. So these inspections were performed on all small structures with a span of 4 feet to 20 feet. If a structure is greater than 20 feet in span, it's a bridge, and it would be covered under the bridge inventory, not the small structure inventory. So it's recommended that these structures be inspected every 4 years, just for public safety. So this morning I'm presenting the 2024 Small Structure Inventory Report based on our findings from the inspections that we performed in February and March of this year. So this report contains several summary reports which are useful to the county in understanding the condition of the small structures in your inventory. In addition to those summary reports, each of the 336 small structures has an individual inspection report that contains some more detailed information about the condition of that that small structure. In the front pocket of this binder, you'll find a small structures inventory map. It's overlaid on a county road grid, so you can locate bridges pretty easily. We've also prepared a full-size map that's laminated for easy access to find bridges and mark them down. All of this information is also included in our flash drive. So we've got a flash drive that's got the full-size map. It's got all of this information. It's got all the load ratings. Justin mentioned the Bridge 68 was load rated, and so that information will be on here, as well as some inspection photos, if you're interested in looking at that. So to help you navigate through the report, we've got this summary sheet that I handed out to you that identifies the location of some of these critical reports within the big report that has some information you might be interested in. So it includes the location where you can find things like the maintenance recommendations for your small structures, maybe a summary of bridges, small structures that are load posted, and most importantly perhaps, a priority schedule that kind of lists which structures are eligible for replacement or rehabilitation. So to ensure that you get the most life out of your small structures, the county should anticipate additional maintenance and repairs in the coming years. So this work could include things like pipelining or erosion control or undermining mitigation for your culverts. One of our biggest goals in working with the small structure inventory is to be an extension of Morgan County and the Highway Department.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
You said one of the things, and I didn't catch the
Yep, sorry. One of our biggest goals is to just help be an extension of the Highway Department.
Okay, got it.
To help inspect things.
I'm sorry, it went blank on me there for a second.
So we'll do our best to anticipate the county's needs and to tailor a report that is easy to read and contains the information that you find most valuable. So it's been a great pleasure to work with Justin and Morgan County over the last year on both the small structure inventory and on the bridge inventory. we really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys on this project, and we look forward to maintaining a great relationship with Morgan County. And at this time, I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Gentlemen? I have a,
Rule of thumb has to be engineering, but where a culvert pipe won't work, or can we no longer put two culvert pipes together where we have to go? We can't do that because of some rule that we have to do an expansion bridge,
So
is there a rule what keeps it small, what makes it big? Is there
I'll let
a
Justin speak to
distance
that.
that?
So depending on the size of the structure, we'll run a different level of hydraulic analysis on it. Really, I mean, you can design a waterway to fit multiple types of structures. It's whatever you find to be economical. You know, a double pipe has the tendency to catch debris, whereas if you have a single pipe, it lets everything run through. So we try to think, you know, adjacent land use. We take all that into account when we select these types of structures to not run into those issues.
are these things on by, I know you've got a nice flash drive, because I'm not gonna, I'm glad to have one of those, but I probably won't use it a lot, but the flash drive will be handy. And by the way, I appreciate United's work. They always do excellent work. But is there any, could this be on our GIS, or is it not?
We can certainly upload this to GIS. We have it on our own internal GIS at the Highway Department for ease.
Do you have
but
it
it's
for the
not right
public
now.
to
It's not
see?
to the public. No, but we
I
can.
think it would be kind of nice for, not that it'd be that handy, it's just they want to see what we really do, for one thing. The other is, it might be a safety concern. I'm sure there's load bearing on several of these. And, you know, the farmers would probably be handy, or we're seeing trucks that aren't farmers run around our country roads. And so we need to make sure everybody has an opportunity to understand what they have to do to comply with load limits and stuff. So
Sure.
if we could put it on GIS, might be helpful if it doesn't take a lot of work. I just thought it'd be kind of handy. I've got a couple of bridges on my own road. Well, I've only got one. And, well, I've actually got two. I didn't realize that. Both on my little short piece of property. I own that there, but
Sure.
we're blessed to have lots of places for drainage. We're also not so blessed to have to get across it, so that's the problem we run into. But, yeah, if we could do that, that'd be handy.
Yeah, we'll take a look at making this more accessible, for sure.
Is there a point where, you know how we were talking that the state on matching funds is out to 2030?
Yep.
Is there a point on a size of a crossing? I don't want to use the word bridge or
Sure.
culvert. Is there where the state says that's all on you guys? We're not even, is there a dollar figure? Is there a size figure? I mean, it's always nice to get the state to help us because of our restraints on budgets and the cost that we're doing. But, I mean, honestly, and I apologize to the public, I'm thinking about replacing bridges. I wasn't even thinking about the small structures and the culverts. I mean,
Sure. So the state doesn't have a certain threshold in itself. That's up to us to make that choice and then to, you know, do as much as we can with our local funding and then go seek assistance for the larger projects that we can't undertake ourselves, you know? So you're absolutely right. There's not a whole lot of difference between a 22-foot bridge and an 18-foot small structure. I mean, it's essentially the same style of, could be the same style of structure. That's up to us, and then through our planning efforts to determine what we want to take in-house and then what we want to ask for assistance for.
The other question I guess I have is that, and it's a problem, I suppose, between municipalities and the county, but these small structures you did are for entire county, not just Morgan County, but the ones that are in Mooresville or Martinsville, that, are those
So
included?
Since we dissolved our cumulative bridge fund, we no longer oversee the maintenance and upkeep of those structures within the municipalities. Everything that was performed in this report was in the unincorporated areas
Okay.
outside of those municipalities.
That makes sense.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to make sure we were not getting caught up on something here.
Yes.
Now, they can do their own inspections and do their own maintenance programs, which I think
Correct.
that would be the responsibility of the municipalities, correct? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right,
thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kyle.
Appreciate the work. look forward to the excitement.
It is exciting.
It is. I bet it was kind of fun to go out and catch all those bridges and such. That ends our new business unless I omitted something. Do you see anything I omitted?
You're good.
Okay, let's move to old business or tabled business. Do we have anything on the cemetery access?
We don't.
We
Go ahead.
do?
We don't.
Don't.
Oh, okay. I'll move, take a motion to continue the table, I guess would be what you call it, table again.
So moved.
Motion been made to table. Made seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, you gave us something here to look at, didn't you?
Well, that's your next item.
PTO.
Yeah. I saw it, I put it over here in another stack. I lost it.
Here's mine. I
Wait a
already
minute,
read
wait a
it.
minute, I see it, I think.
It's from
I
Matt.
got it, I got it.
Jerry's going to explain the situation
All
and
right.
not use, probably not use names.
Explain me.
Okay. The first request that I have is coming from someone who is retiring and will not be able to use all of their PTO, and will get paid out the maximum, but will still have PTO that is left on the table. And they have someone in their department that would need to use that PTO, and so they are asking to donate that PTO to that person.
Any questions on that, gentlemen?
So this person has.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is for a medical reason, so I would say that this would be an okay donation.
It's appropriate.
Can you think of a reason other than medical, non-planned medical, that we, because this could become a logistical nightmare if I leave this place and have 55 bank days in my sick bank, but I can't use them unless I have a major. So when I leave, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the next fireman, and then he's gonna take 9 here and 9 here, which creates a staffing problem. So I'm thinking outside the box here. I don't mind if it's medical and unexpected and someone wants to donate it, but there's gotta be a stop somewhere, otherwise you're gonna come up with a staffing issue.
Since I've been here, the only time that we've approved it is for medical reasons.
Can you think of a time that
And-
we would ever entertain a request that was
No. My recommendation would be no, unless it's for a medical reason. And both of the people that I am bringing to you this morning has gone through their PTO for medical reasons.
that
So
would be
they
my
haven't,
next question,
yeah, they haven't
because-
taken a month off somewhere where they're sitting on the beach drinking a drink. They've used it for medical reasons and they just don't have enough.
And what is our pecking order of using PTO? Meaning, if I'm going to have surgery in, say, October, do I have to use my PTO before I get that? Therefore, I can't have you donate to me 5 days, and then when I come back, I still have 3 weeks vacation.
No, the payroll department,
Or I used all my PTO because I knew I was going into surgery, and I was gonna get it donated to me.
the payroll department doesn't take any PTO unless it's needed for the instance that you approve it for. So if you approve it for someone that has been sick, that's having a surgery, and then they get better and later on they're going on a trip, the payroll department doesn't allow donations for that trip. So that answers part of your question.
But I have to use up my own PTO
All
before I can use yours.
All paid time, all PTO, all paid PTO must be used before you're allowed any unpaid time. So you have to use all of your time down to 0 before you're allowed to have a donation. So sometimes we come and ask, and the situation, we ask what we think we're going to need, and the situation doesn't warrant that. And so we only take what is needed for the situation that you approve it for. We don't ever take more. So that person is not left with several hours of PTO donated in their bank that they could go take a vacation. So I don't know if you want to take these together, or would you prefer to do them separate?
Separate,
Okay.
be my preference. So the first one, this person's on a donate because the person that they're donating to has unexpected medical
Correct.
time off.
Correct.
Want to make a motion?
Huh? Okay, the first one. So, attorney, on the motion, do you name the office, or how do you? If I understand the confidentiality and HIPAA of not mentioning names, but how do you make a motion with just, do you have to have specifics or guidance
I-
versus a broad blanket statement?
Yeah, I think that the cleanest way to do it here, because I know we ran into this issue before, because we have people who can be identified by office and so forth, and with the details. So Doree has presented you with facts for request number 1. And so I think you just addressed, Ms. Fry appeared before the Board of Commissioners, made request number 1 for,
From the HR?
for the transfer of PTO.
Just as long as Keith writes the article, it makes it look like HR's always taking time off and taking everybody's.
Yes, make sure you get that. Yeah.
I think that's the cleanest way.
Well,
You're
we've
going to
pretty
make a
much-
motion on request
We've
number 1.
pretty much set a precedent by allowing donation in medical situations. I just want to make sure that, as a good employer and as a fellow employee, I have donated sick time to other employees but they're in the hospital, they've got major things going on, and I was blessed at the time to have extra days. So I just want to make sure that it's not being abused, and that's what it's being used for. And with that, I'll make the motion that we approve the transfer or donation of PTO for medical purposes in this case.
Is this, or do you have 2 cases?
I do.
Yes.
All right, and we'll just call this case number 1. Would that be all right?
Sure.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded for the transfer of request on case number 1 from the HR. Now, second one?
The second one has come up rather quickly. This person has also been using their PTO to help in a medical situation. This person, you have to work for a full year and work 1,250 hours to qualify for FMLA. This person is not quite qualified yet. So this person has used all of their PTO. The office holder would like to donate 15 and a half hours to this person, and then if needed, we would request 10 unpaid days for medical out of state.
Are you going to come back on that one, or is it just if
No, I'd
needed?
like to do it all right now if we could. And once again, if we don't need it, it will not be used.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Should we vote on the motion in the second of the first case 1 before we?
I'm sorry, I didn't do that, did I?
It's okay. It's
The
been
girls
all
on the
meeting.
left have been going to take care of me?
Yeah, we'll take care of you, Don.
We'll vote on the first one. I forgot I didn't get that done. All in favor of the motion on case number 1, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Now, I'm sorry, now we're back to case number 2.
I make a motion, we approve number 2 as presented to us in our packet.
Okay.
And I'll second that, and then I will tell the concerned citizens of Morgan County what this, in my opinion, allows us to do is you're utilizing actual comp time that someone else could take, so that person would be gone themselves. And 2, it's just a good way to retain if Josh asks me for my PTO and I don't like Josh and Josh is not fun to work with and so then I'm probably not inclined to do that. But if Josh is a good guy and I want to continue working with him, I'm going to give him my PTO. It's a good way to keep camaraderie. It's a good way to keep a good employee. And that's why I entertain this and I will make the second.
And I will just add to what you're saying is I think that the biggest attraction we have is the culture that is created by the work environment and how we feel about the people that work for us. And for folks that don't know, we've got like 450 folks out there. So it's a lot of folks to take care of, and we make sure we treat each other like fairly and like we should. All right, now I'll ask for the motion, or I've had the motion second. I'll ask for the vote on case number 2.
Aye.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye. I said it. I'm sorry, I'm looking at you,
Thank
grab
you.
that.
Just as
We
a note
voted
of
on it
point-
twice now, so it's double whammied. All
Just
right.
as a note, neither one of these employees asked,
You want?
neither one of the employees asked for the benefit.
Oh,
It was offered, which I think shows,
that shows something else.
yeah.
Appreciate your work you're doing.
Thank you, Dre.
Thank you very much. We had one more, business to discuss before, it's not on the agenda, but I think it came up later.
We got a couple things.
Oh, the claims. We better take care of the claims.
Justin has to come back in front of us and then we have to address the,
Justin's coming back?
yeah, we can't get rid of him.
I didn't remember. All right, let's go with Justin. He returns.
Thank you all for hearing and putting up with me again. What I've got before you is a financial commitment letter. I've teamed with our consultant, VS Engineering, to go after some special HSIP funding through NDOT. HSIP is Highway Safety Improvement Program. And the funding split for this program is 90-10, where we pay 10 cents on the dollar for all these improvements. Every year, Indiana LTAP provides us with the latest crash data over the last year. Actually, it goes back for the last 5 years of all the crashes in the county. We've sorted through that data and we have identified 4 hotspots throughout the county that could benefit from some low-cost safety improvements that can be performed over the next 2 years, or within the next 2 years. The first intersection is Mann Road and Landersdale Road. The second intersection is Greencastle Road and Gasburg Road. The third intersection is Baltimore Road and Tutterow Road. And then the fourth location is a sharp curve on Rob Hill Road just east of Bridge 60. So what we're asking is for your approval to move forward, apply for this grant, and what this will do will let us install new signage, striping, pavement treatments to include to improve the friction on there from slide-offs and wet, snowy conditions, and then some other low-cost safety improvements that are more specific to each individual location. So NDOT is really hounding municipalities to get out there. They're trying to give this money away. It's a 90-10 split. I think this is a great thing for the county to go after. With your approval, we'll get going on this project to make our county
How
safer.
big are you going after?
So right now, the total project cost is $712,000. In the end, we'll only be on the hook for $71,200 of those. However, during the PE phase and the construction inspection phase, we'll have to front that money up front, and then we'll get reimbursed over time as the project goes. But yes, all in all, we're anticipating $71,000 for a $700,000 project.
Any questions? Yes.
And again, where's the 71.2 coming from?
So we have money appropriated from the council for next year for a road safety improvement project, and that's where this is coming from.
Brian Collier makes the motion that we accept the special HSIP Safety Call Foundation letter commitment.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And thank you, Justin, appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
And write thank you notes and so forth. All right, now, got some tort claims we haven't addressed?
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we send the tort claims on to our insurance provider.
I'd like to thank Kenny Hill for doing, because one of these is not to have Ann have to represent me personally in a court, but one of these is ridiculous, and I'll second that.
Agree.
You want to know why your taxes are high?
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, well, sometime I wish we could address trivial or unimportant for us, but it costs us to deal. We have one other, we voted on that, correct?
Yes.
All right. The other issue or concern is the little picture with the smoking areas. We have some concern about our employees smoking and where. Construction has really brought it out. This is a proposal to move the, you want to address this, Josh? You get darts thrown at you.
Yeah, real quick, I was, not at the meeting where you guys first brought this up, but in the meantime, there's some pictures of intersections over there by our new parking lot. One's right by the sidewalk, one's on the far end. Wanted to give you guys some options. If you decide where you want to move this area to, if that's the direction we're headed, then I'll work with Ann, we'll get a resolution drafted, but we wanted to give you some ideas. I have talked to a handful of people within this building that smoke. They've all said, yeah, we understand. We don't really have a problem where you put it, so I think whatever makes the most sense.
And I'm glad that they're understanding, because I am getting phone calls on people having to walk through the smell of smoke to come in, and they're already upset because they're walking 2 blocks to get in here while we're under construction. So it'd be my recommendation that we pick one of these 2 sites. It's not very shaded, that tree, but the leaves are gonna fall off all the trees anyway, so, but yeah, move it to the back, and it's not a good visible sign when everybody that travels Main Street all day long sees us out there on breaks. It creates an image problem, in my opinion, as far as, I've been legally advised today on the rights to breaks.
And just for the audience to know, the images are looking at the northeast grassy area by our new lot over here and the southeast corner of our lot.
What are our long, and because I've seen 2 or 3 things where the construction trailer is now, the headquarters, are we turning that into a parking lot?
Long-term, no, that'll most likely be a little maintenance shed.
Because you could put an area over there
Right,
eventually.
yeah, eventually.
You know,
Be the northwest and the southwest on that block, correct?
No, that's not what that's not what I identified, but you can put them wherever you want. We just want to make sure we get.
I'd
started with some
encourage-
discussion.
Yeah, I thought this one was the southwest corner.
It is.
That's what I thought.
Okay, it could be. What I had identified was the northeast and southeast, but any of those intersections will be fine.
spent 40 years in a
Like the southwest.
classroom, and I expect the first 30, maybe, were where we had a smoking lounge in the daggone school building, which every kid in the country knew where the teachers were because they could just trace the smoke. It's ridiculous. And I was a felon. I was sitting in there puffing away myself. Finally decided that was stupid. But then they passed a rule. I don't know what they didn't. The school board says, no more smoking in the school buildings. And, you know, there wasn't as much cane raised as I thought there might be, but we stopped.
It's because they were all smoking in the boys' room.
Well, you know, they may have. That was my job to police that, just make sure it was tobacco. That was our, what we were after, I suppose. But the, you know, people make bad choices, and sometimes it helps if they got a little boot to say, I gotta quit. And so I don't mind if it's a little inconvenient, say, you know, live longer, walk farther.
My vote's that we move it to the southwest corner of our property. Put that table over there.
Okay, great.
I'll do that in the form of a motion if I have to.
Second.
think it's probably good that we did, and you did, and we've got a motion, and I agree with it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Josh,
Great,
would
thank
you
you.
like me to go ahead and prepare an ordinance to do that?
That'd be great.
Okay.
And let's limit it to this facility.
And we need probably signage someplace.
Yeah, Michelle will work on signage. She's already got a new table ordered, so we have
Okay.
one to put over there.
And so the public, besides, think they're not gonna vote for no smoking. So that's where we're gonna have to put the sign, I guess. Enough signs out there, oh, I didn't know we were gonna do that. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Aye, I voted. Okay. What else we got besides to speak? I have one to speak. We have one person who signed to speak this morning. And I've already discussed the rules, Dawn, so please come forward. Dawn Hark is on the Madison Township Advisory Board, and I've seen her deal with an interesting meeting a couple days ago. What can I help you with? You want to pull that down, Dawn, so,
Okay.
thanks.
Is that better? Okay, so I am really here as a resident of Morgan County and trying to figure out how can the average citizen find out what is affecting decisions made in their township before they're voted on? Because I know, you know, you guys are like the head, and then we have county council and all this, but how am I supposed to be notified what is potentially gonna affect where I live, where my money goes to that I'm paying in taxes? Not, you know, not to mention that I am on the township board, because I have never, I mean, it's like I have voted all my life. I've never heard from Brian Culp. I've never heard from Melissa Green, who are supposed to be representing me where I live, nor have I, as a township board, ever received any kind of information that could potentially affect the budget we have or trying to come up with. And so I want to know where is the notification to anybody on what decisions you guys are getting ready to make that affect me? Where do I get that information from? Am I supposed to be notified publicly? That's my question to you.
Well, I'll jump in on an attempted start. I don't know the whole answer. I know the same thing that you face in the township. I don't know how they are informed. We do have, of course, in a website that I hope, not always, because the agendas change, but, you know, we know when they're going to meet. Their notifications are there. What's on the agendas are, I'm not sure if they're put out, they could be, and we could make sure that people have a little advance notice on the agenda. I'd like to say that there's just like the smoking thing that just came up, and some of these other things that we discuss right towards the end of the meeting that are, we don't limit it to, they have to have them ahead of time. That the communities sometimes do. I think, I don't know what Mooresville does, but they have if it's not on the agenda by a certain time, they don't discuss it. That cripples you. You know, there's things that you need to address right then. But in general, things that affect your dollar, I see your concern.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's on an agenda doesn't tell me anything. That's just words. I have no documentation to know, just like coming here and what you were going on. I don't have any documentation on what that entails.
Well, documentation is,
It's a lot of documentation
Oh, I
to
know,
be
but I'm just
provided.
saying, as a citizen,
I know.
and I can certainly go to a website and look at the agenda, but
that gives you an idea of what's going to come up, I suppose, and that's important. But as far as the dollar amount and all the things and the details, like everything else, the details are probably extensive. I don't know if we could put
you know.
that on a webpage or not. I don't even know if there's a requirement that we do.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, and that's the thing, it's like, I'm voting for people that I don't feel represent me because I don't have any notice of what they're doing. Or nor do they approach our trustee in our township to notify that this could potentially affect you or your budget or anything. So that's what I'm asking for as a citizen. Am I supposed to have to dig deep?
Well, I think the agenda should give you a clue that you should come to the meeting, but that'd be about sometimes the case. And then, the information that would, that would be the start. Now, as far as the details of that, Dawn, those are going to be varied from issue to issue. There was things today like our memorandums of understanding that we went through that I hope you found to be very positive about what we're doing health-wise, for example. But there's other issues that probably have a concern about that, let's talk about the perfect citizen and the perfect information. It'd be really, we've got a nice crowd of folks here today. And usually, they're involved in, not usually, the only reason I think that there's ever, when this room is packed, I know I goofed up, that we haven't done the right thing. But when it's just interested folks and they're bringing information for decisions for us to make, I think that that's kind of behooves the public to say, oh, that they're going to talk about this. And if there's information they can gain early, then they can give us a call. Or if they just want to say, I want to show up and hear what they're doing, they can do that. I'd love, there was one lady, she's not here today, this morning, but she just loves to come to these meetings just to see what we're up to. And that's really kind of neat to see folks that involved. The other thing that we have that's, I suppose, interesting and available is we've got the correspondent, which is, being able to give us information about what did occur. But, in advance, the best solution, I suppose, is to look at our agendas and then seek information from that agenda. I don't know what they do at the township level, nor do I know the requirement.
We post up here on our board, and that satisfies the state requirements. We also try to get it onto our webpage. To answer what I think you're asking us, then you'd have to look at the agenda and say, I'm particularly interested in ordinance 2417. Do you have any additional information that we can either email you or that?
So who do I ask for that? Because like for county council, there's not any phone numbers or email addresses.
The county, which would be Deb, it comes to the commissioner's office. Deb Verley is our assistant administrator, and she gets all kinds of calls on that.
Well, and council would probably be Linda.
Linda Parker.
Linda Parker.
County auditor.
Linda Pruitt.
Or Pruitt, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Linda, the auditor's kind of over the council, and then Deb's my boss.
and we maybe want to make that, we make that clearer.
I appreciate you addressing to try to get information. In the almost going on 3 decades that I've set up here, I get frustrated that people only call me after I make a decision, and they never take the time to come before us. They're always behind the curve, and I make the decision based upon that best information that I can find. To always be second guessed, and it's always when taxes go up.
Well, it's
and
just
so-
frustrating
Yeah,
because I'm
absolutely.
voting for my representatives, but I'm not getting communication from them.
But how often does Trey Hollingsworth or Braun or anybody communicate with us at that?
I actually get mailings from them all the time.
It's propaganda, not
And I get
information.
surveys.
Yeah, it's not,
But
those
I'm just
decisions
saying,
are,
I haven't gotten one thing, not one, from anybody I
Well, we
voted
don't have a
for.
budget to do what those cards that you get from the state representatives and the federal, we don't have that type of money. So if it's a topic that's going to address you as a taxpayer or you as a person on the board, you would look at our agenda and say, does that
Well,
pertain
I
to us?
will. I mean, I just wondered, was I just totally stupid thinking that any representative that I voted for was going to reach out to me on anything that mattered to me?
well, I think they do when they do an agenda on a webpage. It's a lot better than when we didn't even have a webpage. I mean, how did they used to do it when we couldn't communicate directly as fast as we do on our phones and our computers? So I think they're seeing more, and school boards the same way, how'd you know what was going on in the school board or what was going on at the town board was after the fact, and I think what you're saying is, I'd like to know ahead of time.
Yeah, I would.
And I think that's what we were able to do with the agenda. And then folks that are really interested in seeing what we're going to be doing, say, well, what's involved?
On that board, how do you reach all the constituents in Madison Township?
Well, I put a Madison Township resident Facebook page up that announces the meetings, and we have a township trustee website.
The same way sort of we do.
All the documentation to past minutes, what's coming up, here's the agenda. So, yeah, I mean, and, you know, it's really hard, because, you know, there's so many young families that they're struggling to just maintain their house, get their laundry done, their kids fed and stuff. So we
Right.
don't have a ton of people that come to our meetings either. I wish we did.
I like not like that last meeting I was at.
Yeah, I know.
A ton of more people.
It's a little unruly.
We-
But, you know, I get it. I get the frustration, so, and I'm sure you guys do too. But, you know, I'm just trying to become more versed on what is happening in our township as a citizen and as a board member, because the decisions that are made down here to take money out of our budget to fund other things, you know, just like Morgan County EMS, we opted out of. I've been told we aren't eligible to receive any of the other local income tax money because we opted out to be part of Morgan County EMS because we already had our own ambulance.
Yeah, same with Brown.
And I don't understand, and I ask, you know, is there some kind of documentation telling us that, did they adopt a policy or something? And I've asked for that from like Brian Kolb. Is there some policy that you guys made down here that says that? Because that's our taxpayers that are paying that money into that fund. And if we're not eligible for it in our own township, that money that our taxpayers paid, I want to know why. Who made that decision? And I'm not getting.
Those things, and of course we didn't even have an EMS when I first was commissioner. That was, Madison had one, and Brown Township had one, the rest of the townships had one.
Yeah.
But then the county's been, I guess you'd say, getting more service to more people.
Her 10 minutes is up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that was our discussion
Thank
there.
you, I do appreciate it.
A little bit more because we
No,
didn't
I
take the
understand.
EMS money.
But thank you for.
Okay, yep. Thank you, Dawn. All right, any other further business from the board or for the board?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. Thank you all for being here.
Board meeting right now. We're already late
Pardon?
for that one. Our park board meeting's now.
Yep, we got a park board. Is Valita here?
Yeah.
I didn't see her.
You got Galita here, you got David, how about us?
Pardon?
Galita's here, she's been going up and down the hallway.
Oh, well, just tell her, come on in. Pardon?